Meeting to order, and at this time ask for a roll call. Betty Ann?
We have Mr. Buckles alternative, Mr. Schnurr. Mrs. Eady?
Yes.
Mr. Eagleson?
Yes.
Mr. Ingles? Ms. Jackson? Mr. McKeever? Mr. Smith? And Warden Tulin.
Present. At this time I'd ask council if there's any declaration of pecuniary interests, either now or you may declare down the agenda. First off, I want to welcome Steve Schaus here this morning, who's EMS Acting Director. So Steve, thank you very much for coming, and thanks for taking on the job, and we welcome you aboard. Thank you. Confirmation of council minutes from the 4th and the 11th of February.
Moved by Mr. McKeever, seconded by Mr. Eagleson, that the minutes of the February 4th and February 11th, 2016 council sessions be...
Are there any errors, omissions, or discussions? Hearing none, all those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Thank you. Communications, Betty Ann.
Communications have been circulated and included on the agenda, but I did want to draw your attention to a lovely thank you card that we received from the families of John H. McKenzie. Thank you for the beautiful flowers. The most important moments in life are often shared with special people. Thank you for sharing in this time of sorrow. And those of you who will recall that Mr. McKenzie was a past warden of the County of Bruce.
Thank you, Betty Ann. Okay, next up, delegations. We have Mr. Mann. Council has had an opportunity to read your presentations, so 10 minutes is yours, Mr. Mann.
Thank you, Warden. Appreciate it. And I want to thank Betty Ann Cobain and Darlene Batty for their wonderful assistance with this delegation. Appreciate it. Main Shores Council deferred a motion to support the OPG DGR until after alternate DGR site studies that have been ordered by the Minister of Environment. Bruce County Council must now do the same, particularly since Council that both support and oppose the OPG DGR. There's been no referendum, and Bruce County Council has no factual basis or evidence that a majority of Bruce County citizens support a DGR. As a result, Bruce County Council cannot give its support for the OPG DGR at this time, and must so inform the Minister of Environment, who is reviewing the Joint Review Panel report. The Minister of Environment has adjourned her review of the JRP report. As a result, I make the following points. 1, the Minister of Environment has ordered OPG to present studies of alternate DGR sites for low and intermediate level nuclear waste that should have been done over the past 15 years. 2, as a result, this is a perfect time to now get rid of the inexplicable two-track 2DGR process and study a 1 DGR for spent fuel and allow the low and intermediate nuclear waste to tag along. 2, at a minimum, OPG's DGR process for low and intermediate will now be extended by 10 years with additional public hearings thereafter, with at least 21 alternate DGR site studies added. 3, in other words, the OPG DGR process for low and intermediate level nuclear waste will be unnecessarily duplicating the 21 studies that have been or currently are being studied by OPG NWMO related to a possible high-level spent fuel nuclear waste DGR, all at exorbitant taxpayer waste. And those are ongoing in our own community right now. 4, the bottom line, the Joint Review Panel public record confirms, and there's no dispute, that only 1 DGR is necessary for all nuclear waste, low, intermediate, and high levels. Therefore, OPG has a duty and obligation to all taxpayers to withdraw its application to build a low and intermediate DGR rather than unnecessarily undergoing meaningless and costly alternate DGR site studies that already have been or will be done by OPG NWMO related to a high-level spent fuel nuclear waste DGR. 5, there simply is no need whatsoever to duplicate the DGR studies, and low and intermediate studies must defer to the ongoing high-level spent fuel studies. 6, for example, Ultimately, if OPG after 10 years presents studies that confirm that there is no alternate site that is safe and that the Kincardine site is the best for the OPG DGR for low and intermediate, then that would also prove that no site would be safe for a high-level spent fuel DGR. And since Kincardine site prohibits spent fuel would not have any DGR site anywhere to even consider. Thus, the minister would then be reviewing OPG's DGR application for low and intermediate nuclear waste, while high-level spent fuel would remain stored on the surface without any DGR possible. Ludicrous. In addition, OPG submitted to the JRP that it was extremely important that there was no need to transport the low and intermediate nuclear waste off-site. In other words, since Kincardine prohibits spent fuel in its DGR, even if a DGR for spent fuel was possible, OPG could never successfully argue that spent fuel should be transported to a DGR off-site. As a result, OPG's inexplicable DGR application for clothes and rags has successfully eliminated the possibility of spent fuel ever going to a DGR. 7. These absurd anomalies can be easily avoided by simply pursuing studies related to high-level spent fuel. After that is accomplished, if and when OPG ultimately presents an application to build a high-level spent fuel DGR, the low and intermediate nuclear waste can simply tag along without duplicating studies and without duplicating taxpayer costs. This is the perfect time to eliminate the disastrous and inexplicable two-track, two-DGR process and pursue a one DGR process for all nuclear waste, starting with spent fuel, the real villain in this whole process. Bruce County Council would never duplicate any project, let alone the biggest project in Canada, if it was up to you. 8, we now have time to do this right. There's been no shovel in the ground yet. There simply is no rush. Let everyone meaningfully participate and be meaningfully included in the DGR process for high-level spent fuel, followed by a fully informed referendum by all voters. We have to get it right. We do not want to become a whip community. 9, I thank Betty Ann Cobain and Darlene Batty, and I also rely on my delegation emails on file. And I'd ask, I think Darlene, if she could play the video that establishes the overwhelming opposition to OPG's DGR. This video is produced by Frank and Beverly Fernandez, the founders of Stop the Great Lakes Nuclear Dump, and is Oscar-worthy, in my opinion, and says it all. And we have Flint now, WHIP, disaster, 184 resolutions against the council resolutions against the OPG DGR, and I would I thank council for allowing me to present this delegation, and if Darlene could assist me with playing the video, I appreciate it. Thank you, Ward.
Thank you. Any questions or comments from council? Okay, hearing none. Thank you very much for your presentation, Mr.
I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Okay, county officer reports. Is there any county officer reports this morning? Hearing none. Any inquiries or announcements this morning? Minutes, Betty Ann.
Moved by Mr. Eagleson, seconded by Mr. McKeever, that the minutes of the following committees be approved. February 4th, 2016, Corporate Services Committee, Emergency Services Committee, Homes Committee, Human Resources Committee, Museum Committee, Social Services and Housing Committee. February 11th, 2016, Corporate Services Committee. February 18th, 2016, Corporate Services Committee, Emergency Services Committee, Highways Committee, Planning and Development Committee, Social Services and Housing Committee. February 19th, 2016, Planning and Development Committee.
Were there any errors, omissions, or discussions from any of those minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor? Opposed, if any? That's carried. Thank you. Any motions?
No further motions.
Thank you. Unfinished business. Bylaws, Betty Ann.
There are several bylaws. Moved by Mr. Ingles, seconded by Mr. Smith, that the following bylaws be adopted. 2016-10, about to authorize the execution of a lease agreement with the South Bruce Gray Health Center for the ambulance station located in Chesley. 2016-11, about to adopt Amendment Number 200 to the County Bruce Official Plan. 2016-12, about to adopt Amendment Number 201 to the County Bruce Official Plan. 2016-13, and committees of the Corporation of the County of Bruce. 2016-14, about to establish fees and charges for the Corporation of the County of Bruce. 2016-15, about to authorize the execution of the 2016 Child Care and Family Support Program Service Agreement between Her Majesty the Queen and Right of Ontario as represented by the Minister of Education and the Corporation of the County of Bruce. 2016-16, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Sauble Beach Precious Moments Child Care Center to provide child care services. 2016-17, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Bright Beginnings Child Care to provide child care services. 2016-18, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and the Municipality of Brockton to provide child care services. 2016-19, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Kids Street Nursery School Incorporated to provide child care services. 2016-20, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and YMCA of Owen Sound Grey Bruce to provide child care services. 2016-21, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Vicki Elizabeth Travers operating at Sandbox Daycare to provide child care services. 2016-22, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Carol Edwins operating as Montessori's Children's House of Hanover to provide child care services. About to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Les Gardiers Les Jardins des Découvertes to provide child care services. 2016-24, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Happy Hearts Daycare, Owen Sound Incorporated, to provide child care services. 2016-25, about to authorize and the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Chesley Nursery School Incorporated to provide child care services. 2016-26, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and the Corporation of the Township of North Huron to provide child care services. 2016-27, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and the Bruce Peninsula Family Centers to provide child care services. 2016-28, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and Wyerton and District Co-op Nursery School Incorporated to provide child care services. 2016-29, about to authorize the execution of an agreement between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and the Wyerton Kids Daycare Center to provide child care services. In 2016-30, about to adopt estimates, tax ratios, and tax rates for the year 2016. 2016-31, about to authorize the warden and clerk to sign a 5-year agreement with multiple clubs of the Ontario Federation of Snowmobile Clubs. 2016-32, about to authorize the execution of a memorandum of understanding between the Corporation of the County of Bruce and the Town of Saugeen Shores for the transition of the responsibility for the programs and operation of the Saugeen Shores Business Enterprise Center. 2016-33, about to establish a Waste Management Future Planning Reserve Fund. 2016-34, a bylaw to authorize the execution of a software license and services agreement between Fat Pot Technologies LLC and the counties of Bruce, Huron, Norfolk, and Perth for the Fleetmatics to Gray Island AVL interface project. 2016-035, a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of the Corporation of the County of Bruce at its meeting held the third day of March 2016.
Thank you, Betty Ann. Are there any discussions for any of those bylaws? Hearing none, all those in favor, opposed if any, that is carried. Thank you.
Moved by Mr. Engel, seconded by Mr. Smith, that we do now adjourn to meet again Thursday, April 7th, 2016 at 9:30 a.m. at the Bruce County Museum and Cultural Center, Southampton.
All those in favor, opposed if any, that's carried. Thank you.